Good afternoon. Welcome on into From Day One.
Look like you feel
Let's go to court.
Are you under the weather as the other lady was?
Which one?
That one that was just here said she wasn't feeling well. She's under the weather, and you don't look quite as healthy as you usually do, or is it just the circumstances you're under?
Yeah.
I'm asking if you feel okay today. As far as you know, you do?
Let's get to it. Here they come right now.
Victims impact panel, chemical dependency evaluation, and any treatment recommended.
Okay.
And
there we go. Having a snack in court.
give me some idea of your average monthly income there at work.
Your Honor, I don't
sweet,
believe that's necessary.
The fun part is the judge. It's like, yeah, nobody's shocked, but this is fine. It's nature. It's beautiful. It's, fine. I don't know if it's entirely appropriate for court. The judge notices it, and he's sitting there trying to think, how do I respond or not respond? How do I stay out of trouble? Is all the judge is thinking. That's what I find amusing. I feel for him.
So you disagree with Mr. Thompson that the court has the ability to impose something if there's income earned?
I disagree with Mr. Thompson as it pertains to the $43 conviction fee. The statute just says that the fee shall not be imposed on a defendant who is indigent as defined in RCW 10-01-1603. 10-01-1603 says the court shall not order a defendant to pay costs if the defendant at the time of sentencing is indigent. In determining the amount and method of payment of costs for a defendant who are not indigent, the court shall take account of the financial resources of the defendant and the nature of the burden that payment of costs will impose. For the purposes of this section, a defendant is indigent if the defendant A meets the criteria defined in RCW 10-101-010 3A through C. Now, RCW 10-101-010 3A through C.
Okay,
we're going to call Magana versus Smith, CB 2023-1431. Please step up. Plaintiff, on to my left.
Prepare for maximum stupid.
Okay.
This table. Defendant to my right at this table. Parties, I am a commissioner and I need stipulations from both parties if I am to preside over this unlawful detainer trial, the proceedings today. If you have already filled out a written stipulation, you may hand that to my bailiff. And if you have not, I'm going to turn to each of you and ask if you are willing to stipulate. And if not, I will contact the person at the court that gets you a judge, okay? Plaintiff Armando Magana? Yes. Are you willing to stipulate to me as a commissioner?
Do you have paperwork to fill out?
We have, do you have the stack of the ones with my name? Yes. All right. So there's a paper stipulation and you can take a look at that and read it and fill it out.
All right.
Oh,
just one sign? Okay.
Oh. Feel free to take a look at that. And if you are both willing to sign, you can sign one document and we'll file those into this case.
Let's say, I don't care, but let's just say no. What happens then? Like,
I would contact the person that coordinates judges covering this calendar, and they would find a judge that's in the courthouse this Friday afternoon. And I cannot promise you that it would be this afternoon. It might not be. I'm not in charge of picking the judge. I have no role in that. They go through the same thing.
I guess you seem fine to me. I was just wondering because I was just curious about what happens.
There's really no pressure either way. And if you don't want to stipulate, I won't be offended. This is just the process.
I totally don't mind. Sorry.
All right.
Well, I was going to go sign the paper. Well, thank you.
You ready for stupid?
Yeah, I've been waiting for it.
All right. Yep. All right, parties. I accept your.
if you got cocktails, now's the time. Although I may or may not go out tonight, but in the unlikely event that I do, I can't start drinking now. I probably won't. But I'm telling you, if you can, have at it.
Stipulation. And what I want to ask you before starting the trial is if either, well, not if either of you, if both of you are interested in potentially mediating with Miss Maunder, I can pass the trial, I can pass the case until you have had a chance to do that. She separates people and talks to them individually.
Oh, we need to have a show called Mediating with Miss Monger. That could be like a recurring series here on Law Talk with Mike.
And so I was going to say, if you can't take it, I would.
Try mediation. If it doesn't work out, you can come back here and I'll hear evidence and make a ruling today on the trial. Do you both understand the potential process of mediation before coming back to do the trial if necessary?
Yes, I don't really care about mediation. I'm more concerned about, I finally found a lawyer, but I didn't find one literally until yesterday. And they said that it's something that I should really have representation for, because like I said, it's more than just me not paying my rent. I stopped paying rent because he turned my power off.
Yeah, that's great. You found a lawyer yesterday. However, you don't have a lawyer for, the trial on the merits of the controversy at hand. That's kind of when you need them.
My hot water off.
Is that true?
Okay.
Oh, yes, it is true.
Wait, before I start hearing from the parties, you're not sworn in. I'm not taking testimony.
That's fine. I'm
Just on the limited issue.
Then
of
shut up.
mediation, if the answer is no, that's fine. Sir, I don't necessarily need to hear from you if she's not willing to mediate. Would you be willing to mediate though, if this was possible?
Well, no, because she's coming up with something new.
Okay, that's fine.
You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
hearing no from both parties.
If I go out
And
for sure.
what I will tell both of you is
go
you're
no
not
other way.
represented. I cannot act as a lawyer for either one of you, and I will not be acting as a lawyer, an advocate for either one of you.
That's fine.
I will hear from both of you. If we go forward to the trial, the way it works is plaintiff, person with the burden who has filed this claim, goes first. You provide testimony and any documents that you want the court to consider. You'll be subject to cross-examination, which is questioning by the defendant, and I'll allow argument on your claims, okay? The defense will also be allowed to put on testimony, provide documents, any kind of evidence you want the court to consider. The way bench trials run is I may limit the testimony that you offer in some circumstances if it is not relevant to the issues before me. Sometimes that's necessary to keep cases contained.
Thank you, Nancy.
I may also break into testimony and ask a clarifying question or a question on a relevant topic. It's something that I need to know.
Okay.
Don't be offended if I do that. It's so that I can get the information that I need to determine the validity of the claim here and who's
the time is now,
in
Andrew.
the right. If you are the party that has just heard testimony from the other side, you have the right to ask questions, but you don't have to ask questions. I won't assume that you agree with everything that they testified to based on your lack of asking questions. I will listen to all of the evidence before I make a determination.
Sounds fair.
I don't think I have anything else that I need to tell you guys before we start, except I do not tolerate interruptions by the other party. If one of you is testifying and the other person has an objection to the testimony, a legal objection to the testimony that's being offered, you may state objection. I will pause. I will listen to your objection and I will sustain or overrule it. But I do not tolerate parties starting to testify
We've been together so
in
long.
contradiction to the other party. We go in turns. All right. The purpose of the trial is for me to get all the relevant evidence, make credibility determinations, factual determinations, and then apply the applicable law and make a ruling. Thank you.
Okay.
Hold on
All right,
one
I'm
second,
in.
folks. I am being prompted by my clerk to get stipulations from the other parties that are waiting before I start your trial, so that if they need a judge to be assigned to their case, we can get that process underway. So just stay where you are. Thank you for prompting me to do that. We're going to go ahead and proceed with the trial. My court clerk will swear both of you in at the same time so that I can take testimony when it is your turn to testify. Madam Clerk.
Please raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give in the cause before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
At least one of those two just
You
lied.
indicated, I know this case was continued for you to get an attorney. You
Right.
indicated that you
I
have
tried.
talked to an attorney.
Yeah.
Have you hired one though? I don't have a substitution of counsel in my file.
With the, it's called the Civil Group. They just,
You see, the judge just slides it in there. You see, I'm going through the file here, and I don't see an appearance from an attorney for you, so it leads me to think you don't have one.
literally decided to even want to like take on my case last night. Like I tried to go to legal aid and I couldn't. They said they're all full. Every lawyer I've called, they've been full. So this is like my one chance of getting one is through these people. And like I don't know. So they said that the only thing was that they were not going to be able to help me today because they're so booked too. But dude, Tom is in Chicago. She's in South California. So I don't know, for them to be, she's gave me some advice on how to do this. But because this is something that I'm really sensitive to, and I don't know, I get really emotional, and I'd really rather I had somebody to help, like with.
Oh, do tell us how you get emotional.
Yeah, that's really going to help you.
I really want counsel for this.
This was already continued once
I
by
tried
the
my
previous
best.
bench officer for you to obtain counsel.
She's emotional and she wants counsel. That's her response to, do you have an attorney? I'm going to translate
The
that
answer
for
is
you.
no.
No, she does not have an attorney.
I tried. I called everyone that I could. Like literally, these people finally emailed me back, and when they did, I've been emailing them all week. My phone fell in the dog bowl water. It was in rice almost all week. Like, I swear to God.
My phone fell in the dog bowl water. It was in rice all week.
Dog bowl water of the San Francisco treat.
I didn't hear that part.
Now you did.
I'm sorry. We haven't even gotten started yet.
I have the worst looking one.
Ma'am, I want to hear you and understand your position. Are you asking for another continuance?
If you would, or to just literally hear my story or hear what happened.
Just on the limited issue of your request for continuance, did you have counsel that has agreed to take your case?
Yes.
And provided, are they representing you for free, or are you going to be paying them?
It's pro bono. How do you say that? Like, well, I don't have to
Did
pay
they give you
anything
a
up
date
front.
that they were available?
She was supposed to get back to me today, but I told her that I had court. So she said she was just going to try to advise me on how to act when I got here. So that way I could do it myself if I had to, if you wouldn't give me my continuance. But so I kind of just left that one.
I love it when she thinks she's like dropping a term on the judge. It's pro bono. I mean, she says it like, like askingly.
Like
but
you guys never heard that, you attorneys.
It's like, yeah, you don't pay your rent. We're confident you're not paying an attorney either.
You're pro
To
bono.
the extent you get an attorney, it'll be a free one.
Like, I didn't even ask for that part because if she said, I don't know, I knew I had to be here today.
All right. I hear what you're telling me, and I don't doubt your credibility. I believe
I
you
do.
in efforts. I'm not.
Let me go on the record. I doubt her credibility, top to bottom, across the board.
You and me
Good
both,
cause to
Mikey.
Continue this though. Unlawful detainers are meant to move lightning quick.
I understand.
It's a summary procedure to obtain a quick judgment on who has the right to possession here.
There may be an
And
opportunity.
I'm not going to grant you an additional continuance.
This is more about this isn't just about eviction though. That's the part that I'm saying. That's why I need representation. This man has sexually harassed me. He's done so many things to me that to impact my life to where I need representation. I don't even want to talk. Honestly, I don't even feel comfortable talking in front of him. This man has told me he'll bury me in his backyard. I don't want to be here. I don't like this.
Hold on.
I don't.
Nope. No problem. Ma'am, I haven't found good cause to continue your case an additional continuance. You did already obtain a continuance. I don't hear good cause to continue this to a specific future date.
I literally went to legal aid and they
Ma'am,
couldn't help me. It's crazy.
I appreciate the efforts that you made,
It's okay.
but I am going to go forward with the trial.
That's fine.
And I'm going to turn to plaintiff to present testimony and evidence in
At
favor of the
birth.
claim that's filed here. Sir, go ahead.
Well, basically, she's paid late all the time, and it's become a hassle just to collect the money from her. She never pays on time, doesn't want to pay the late fee, stuff like that. And it's been 7, 8 months of that. It gets old, because then
You know who needs an attorney even more than her? This guy. Because they're both horrible in court. Although I believe him a lot more. But he's got the burden.
I got to deal with her, and that's how she gets. And it's too much for me. And then like I told her when I rented her the place, to keep the patio clean. She has a dog, and she doesn't do none of that.
Is that all the testimony you wish to offer?
Well,
sir?
no, that's about it. Well, she has a lot of different
That's
people
about it.
coming in and out all day and night.
I know I actually feel bad for this guy because I believe everything he's saying, but he doesn't know how to make his case. He filed this petition to basically evict her. And maybe for background, that would be a dual petition. Whatever, it doesn't matter. He filed this petition. You need to say things like, she's been living in my place and has not paid rent since this date. I've given proper notice and she didn't respond. That there are elements, there are things you have to prove to get the relief you're seeking. And that's what he ultimately doesn't understand.
Can't do this.
Ma'am, if you need a moment to collect yourself, please take it.
Didn't he just take an oath?
He's just like, yeah, she's a liar and she doesn't pay. Okay, that's not meeting your burden. I actually believe it, but it's not sufficient to meet the burden.
And I'm going to remind you that when I'm hearing testimony from one side, I'll hear legal objections, if any, and otherwise no interruptions. Sir, I'm going to ask you to focus in on the specific reasons that you served the defendant here with a notice to pay rent or quit, and any evidence that you want the court to take into account before I make my ruling. This is your chance to offer that evidence.
Well, whatever I filed, the paperwork there, that's the only thing I have.
Did you bring in the original 3-day notice to quit? The version that's filed with the court is difficult to read, and I would like to be able to read it. Did you bring that with you?
Actually, no, but the copy there, I sent it to my son. He was supposed to give me a clean hero one.
Oh, good Lord. A 3-day notice to quit has about 12 words on it. It shouldn't be illegible. I don't know what happened here. Did he scroll one in crayon and then not bring the original or a copy of it? I mean, I don't know. This is frustrating.
Did you bring any documentation to present to the court? Other than what's filed?
No, I just, whatever I filed.
Madam Clerk, are there any paper exhibits that have been lodged by either?
Neither one of them get the idea that this is the day for trial. Today's the day for trial. We're not waiting for a future event. This is it. Today's the day. Bring your stuff.
Party? All right. I will just tell you, sir, that I will do my best to read everything, but the last one, the last 5 pages, and that's your exhibits 2 and 3, are very difficult to read. So I need you to, give me whatever you've got and provide testimony on what those contain, if you can, okay? And if you've told me everything you want to tell me,
It'll help.
that's okay too.
Yeah,
You can tell me that you've told me everything.
I mean, they're on the phone, they're on my iPad. The original one?
Is that with you?
Actually, I didn't because I couldn't get it to power back on. So I took a photo of the iPad.
Okay. Have you presented me then with everything that you want to present?
Yeah, everything that's in there. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your testimony. And I do have your complaint.
Sorry about that, gang. Something came up, but the court
I'm
case
going
has
to
been going on.
allow the defendant
We'll
to
continue.
ask cross-examination questions
Oh,
if
good
you have
Lord.
any. And as a reminder, you don't have to ask questions. If what you wish to do is testify, that's a separate thing. But if you have questions about the facts the plaintiff has testified to, or anything relevant to the unlawful detainer filed with the court, this is your chance, and you can go ahead and pose questions directly to the plaintiff.
Question, you say I was late all the time, right? Was I ever over the month? Did I ever go over the month that was due? Ever?
She went up to
Can you answer my question?
29 days.
Can you answer the question?
Hold on. And I'm going to just allow you ask one question, you wait for an answer the question,
Well,
or
yeah,
give me an objection if there's.
she was late too many times and always paid whenever she wanted. And then it was the same thing trying to collect.
That's not the question I asked.
Would you repeat your question, ma'am?
Did I ever go over the month? By the end of the month, was I ever over or were you paid up?
See, And that's the thing, she couldn't understand that. She had until the 5th day to
You
pay.
understand the question? You can answer it.
No, she
If
went
you
over,
don't-
yes, she did go over.
When? Can you, that's
You know
my
what I'm
next
saying? And I was
question.
afraid she wanted to do that and keep going in months and months. So I told her, hey, you're too much. I even talked to her about it.
All right. I think you've obtained an answer. Do you have other questions?
Yes, I do. When did I go over the 1 month? When did I ever, let's say for February, when did I owed you for February still in March? When did that ever happen?
She kept being late all the time.
Like,
She never
answer
paid
the
on
Your
the-
Honor, asked and answered.
And
Parties.
when I talked to her about it,
Hold on. I just want to bring down the level of emotion in this trial. Parties, it's important that I understand the testimony that's offered so that I can make a determination about what facts to find. Ma'am, if you have another specific question that you want to ask, one question at a time.
I'm still
Go.
waiting for the last one. When did I ever go over the?
Your
1 month I was
Honor,
late?
asked and answered.
Ever.
Okay. Go ahead and answer that question.
every month she paid late. You know, she paid
Every
up all
month.
the way until the 29th. Like when the month was almost over and then it was
Can you
due.
tell
again.
me specific days, months?
Like the last time she
years?
paid,
Your Honor,
she paid,
asked and answered
I
repeatedly.
talked to her before that, and I told her what the problems were, and she agreed to everything. Because I told her, hey, the patio looks, I even made stuff, containers to put stuff in for her.
Okay.
And
All right.
it's still a mess.
Thank you. Any other questions for the plaintiff?
You still haven't answered my. you still
Your
haven't answered my
Honor,
question, But.
badgering the witness.
And how could I have had people coming in day and night when you would never allow me to even have company? When I do, you try to put me out.
Your,
What people do I have?
okay,
coming
that's
over
a
there?
different,
She's making that up.
I'm
That's-
not making that.
that's a
I'm
different
going to
question.
limit testimony on this point. I have an unlawful detainer with the allegation that a 3-day notice to pay rent or quit was served. There is not any other issue in this complaint alleged other than rent. So I'm going to limit as not relevant other testimony and questioning. Do you have any other questions?
Was my question irrelevant or was that about the rent? Wasn't that?
irrelevant.
Sound like that was about the rent?
I'm being confused. I thought it was, right? Like are you telling me that I'm not asking the right questions? I'm confused.
It did not sound like your question was about rent. Do you have any
okay.
questions that are
Maybe I
relevant
should
to that?
rephrase it because you said that I went over months and I paid him late all the time. So I was trying to figure out when, because he's lying to me. So I'm saying, I want him to tell me when I did that. When did
Your Honor, asked and
when did I
answered.
to do a testimony part? Because I feel like I don't have
You're
more
done with
questions.
questions?
I think you're right. Yeah, no more questions. We're good.
All right. Plaintiff, you've provided testimony and you've answered cross-examination questions. Have you provided all of the documents and all of the testimony for your case in chief? That's everything you want the court to consider?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to any defense case that you wish to put on.
Thank you.
This is a chance for you to testify. You have been sworn in and you
Yes.
can provide
A lot.
sworn testimony.
Yes.
I'm going to limit you to relevant facts. If I
Fine.
deem something not to be relevant to what's been presented, I'll stop you. Go
That's
ahead.
fine.
In other words, prepare to be stopped.
The only
lot.
reason I didn't pay my rent in July is because of the fact, like I said, that he turned my electricity off and he turned my hot water off, which he keeps doing to me almost on a day-to-day basis to mess with me. Okay, and when I tried to confront him about it, he told me to flip my the electrical breaker in my house, like that has anything to do with the hot water. Okay, that I paid this man every month. When I first moved in, I told him I couldn't pay him on the first because I was just getting out of a 10-year-long abusive relationship and I was trying to reheal. I was just getting on my feet again. And I told him, I said, my dad, I get paid every other Friday and I can pay you every other Friday when I get paid. And we made an agreement, a handwritten lease it was going to be 2 monthly payments of $350. He made me illegally sign a new lease in November when my dad died. After my dad died, the family ran off with the money. It's been hell just to wake up every morning. It's been the hardest thing I've ever been through. in my
Your
life. And I
Honor.
tried to explain this to him, and I still managed somehow to make the money for him. I still know it wasn't necessarily on the first every month. I can admit that, but I never let the rent go over that month that was due.
Ma'am,
Never.
I'm going to pause you just for a point of clarification.
Yes.
Are you telling me that you have a handwritten lease that's different than the typed
Yes.
lease attached to the complaint?
Yes, and so did he. He made
Yeah.
me sign that, and
Do you have a copy of that?
Everything, wanted to request a deposit, wanted all of that.
You bring in the handwritten lease that you are referring to?
I don't have it. I don't know where it is right now because I've been packing and moving all my stuff. And
Oh,
I'm
big
trying to get rid of
surprise.
everything, but I wrote in my diary when I moved in. I mean, I don't know. I've been keeping track of little stupid stuff that's been happening.
Did you bring in any documents that you wish to present?
Anything to prove at all. Really? Chipmunk?
I
Squirrel?
brought in this
She wrote in her diary.
Dear diary,
timeline that I went over with my
there for
lawyer.
free.
I brought in like everything about, he won't let me get mail there. I don't owe, I feel like there's things that he was supposed to do that he doesn't, he talks about the yard. He put all his construction
She feels like there were things he was supposed to do.
Feel? Really?
Okay.
crap in my front yard. And I asked him multiple times because of my dog to get it out because it's a safety hazard. If that stuff could fall on her and cut her in any time. And he refuses. It's still sitting there. Like, and then he lied and said, had these girls put across the street say they served me, and they have had nothing to do with this case. I mean,
Ma'am,
I have the original 3-day quit that he gave me.
Point of clarification. When you're talking about service, are you talking about service of a 3-day notice to pay rent or quit, or any other kind of notice to get out of the property, or the summons and complaint for this lawsuit?
I think when I'm saying service, I mean the eviction notices, the unlawful detainer.
All right, can you tell me just the title of a document that was served?
No.
Honestly, he's given me a 3-day, he gave me a 30-day, and he gave me a 60-day. The 60-day, he doesn't have it included into my eviction packet that he gave me. And I don't understand why, because that one hadn't even expired until the end of August, when he had already tried evicting me.
If there's any documents that you want me to look at that you haven't.
Did you
already
bring
filed with the
any?
court, in order for me to look at them, I'm going to have you hand them to my
Need
bailiff
them
so that they can
physically
show the
here.
plaintiff, so that the plaintiff has had a chance to look at those. And then you can hand me any kind of documents you want me to consider.
Okay.
You're not required to hand me any documents at all.
Okay.
I'm just asking if you have brought documents and you want to present them, this is the process, okay?
Okay. I'm sorry that it looks like this, but
No, you're not.
That's the original 3-day. That I feel doesn't match the one that's in the thing.
Mikey.
This is the thing from this girl.
See, that was like a damp scrap of paper, but it was still hard.
Mikey, have you been telling this lady what to bring in?
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I couldn't write this stuff if I had to.
Saying that she served me, and that's just a bold-faced lie. I can't find for the life of me my packet, because the packet that he gave me didn't have. That's what I was confused about my answer for, because he did not have a blank answer for me. It was and then this, I've never.
What was that?
I don't have a mailbox. Like I said, I'm not allowed to get mail. This he put on my mailbox, on my gate the other day from the mailman, and I don't know why, because this has never been an issue. My dog doesn't have anything to do with that mailbox. Not even the same
document that you're
place.
holding up right now, tell me what that is.
It says from the letter carrier for my not delivering the mail. It was to cover his tracks, basically.
No, it's not. It's the last
Excuse
one that
me.
you filed.
Hold on. The process here, the process here, plaintiff, is that you need to be able to see these documents before they're handed up to me. And I'll allow you to make argument related to these documents. If there's something about the documents that you need to explain to me, you can address that in your questions of the defendant if you have questions, or if you just have argument or further testimony that you want to offer, then I can allow you to offer additional testimony, or argument only is fine as well. So don't tell me anything right now, but please take a look at those documents. And if there's anything you will need to tell me, take note of those comments, that argument that you want to make, okay?
All right.
I've literally never been able to get mail there because he doesn't want the government to know that he gets he rents because he gets food stamps and Medi-Cal. He's told me that out of his own mouth. Like that has inconvened. He's yelled and cussed me out, screamed at me because I even asked just to use it for a voting address. Like my phone broke. My mother in Oakland was going to send me a brand new phone that she bought for me, but he cussed me out again when I asked him if I could have it delivered to the house. Like that mail thing has absolutely nothing to do with why I've not gotten mail. And it was just, I feel like it was fraudulent and just to cover his tracks, like I said.
Is there other testimony that you wish to offer?
That
Okay.
I'm not somebody that I obviously know that my rent is due, and like that, it's just common sense. Like I said, but I never
One
went
at a
over the
time.
rent for him. I know it wasn't necessarily on the first, like I said, but I made sure and I did my best. We're doing to the circumstances to get it. And I told him and I asked him, I said, look, please, I know that it's not ideal, but I'm literally hanging on by a thread. Can you please cut me a break and understand that I'm trying to get it together? I started working. I threw an app and I had, they were going to hire me full time for 3 different jobs, but I overworked myself so much that I ended up late and they cut me off from all of them. And that's my fault, but still, like, he has no idea how much I've tried to get and keep it together. And like I said, I have PTSD and stuff from being in whatever that relationship I was in, to where I hate going outside. He makes me feel, he puts me into a place of insanity that I can't. It's not healthy. And I've literally tried to talk to him about it. He says tries to talk to me. But okay, things happen. And I told him that from the day one. I said, you know what? I unfortunately have the worst luck in the world. I'm so sorry. But you're going to have to be patient with me sometimes. I know, but just know that this is definitely my priority. And all this man has done all the time is put me down. He belittles me. He talks crap about me to his friends, makes jokes about how he has me powerless and electricity, hot waterless. He's just, that's why I needed. I wanted a little.
All right. Is there any other testimony that you want to offer the court?
Any other lying you wish to do, in other words?
Can you tell me there's a document here that's damaged? What happened to this?
I spilled something on it. I think my dog spilled something on it, but I'll take the blame for it.
My dog spilled something on it, but I'll take the blame for it. You can't make it up.
You will take the blame for it.
And he ended up stuck to like another piece of paper and like smudged up, and yeah, I tried to save as much as I could.
So she throws the dog under the bus and then she characterizes herself as heroic. I tried to save it.
Yeah, the dog's probably back at home going, what the hell? I didn't do nothing.
I'm going to ask, just for efficiency's sake, a couple of questions. You saw this damaged document. Is this the 3-day notice to quit?
No, that's not the one. No, that's
different.
When I first wanted her to leave, she didn't want to leave.
So it's different than the notice that's attached to
Yeah,
it.
that's not has nothing to do with this case. That's the first time I put that in that.
That's okay. You've answered my question. I just wanted to know if it's the same document, because I have a partial document here and a difficult to read document here.
That is the same document, man. I promise you. Look at the dates. I don't know if he did even look at that, but those are the dates from this.
I'll consider both of your representations.
Oh yeah, excuse me. Right.
Oh, hold on one second.
Others, let me lie here.
That you've passed up, and I'm going to hold on to these for the moment. I haven't admitted those as exhibits, but I've taken a look at them. Have you offered all the testimony that you wish to offer?
No, my house right now has had no water, no electricity. My dog was in the house. It was so hot. It gets so hot in there without anything. The hottest month, I filed something against him, as a matter of fact, in February with Fair Housing. I have a copy of that on my phone, but I'm saying that because he had me in the dark without electricity and hot water back then too. It's a game that he plays. Excuse me. It's a game that he plays.
No crosstalk.
I've never touched.
Hold on, sir. If you have an objection, a legal objection to the testimony, you can speak up and say objection. But otherwise, I'm going to ask you to hold off on any further testimony or argument until she's done.
The woman I brought with me, I've literally had to go to her house to shower and stuff because I have not had any hot water. And my hot water, he turned it off on the 5th of July. No, it was the 3rd or 4th of July. Anyway, and that's why I said, okay, well, if he's not going to, he has me blocked on social media, on text message. So it's not like he wants me to talk to him face to face all the time, which I don't feel comfortable doing due to a series of unfortunate.
Holy Toledo. She's just
Toledo?
saying he has me blocked on social media.
Yeah, I believe he did.
Wow. I mean, if he does, good for him. And why would you be reaching out to him on social media anyway?
Events with this man, and I don't like being alone with him if I could avoid it. And he's made it to where he always because he's just such a liar. I can't stand this.
Ma'am, if there's anything further that you wish to tell me, Then you have a chance to do that. I'm not going to cut you off, but have you told me everything you want to tell me?
I think, I don't know. I think so.
Plaintiff, if you had questions, and this isn't a chance to argue, but a chance to ask fact questions about the testimony that's been presented, you may do that at this time. And if you have argument or further testimony of your own, tell me that. That's fine too.
Well, I'll just tell you, I've never turned off the power on her or the water. Okay, actually, she's been leaving.
Okay, good. Good.
Now shut up.
That's responsive to her testimony. And it's what he was trying to say while she was testifying because he was upset, but he doesn't understand the process. Fine. He waits to this moment. Finally, he says something helpful. He didn't make his case, but he's addressing this properly.
Leaving the water running and the air conditioner on for 60 days straight. My bill was $305. She's not who she claims to be. She's very, you should have heard before I came out here. I heard her out there talking and screaming crazy. She had somebody over there screaming. I just can't deal with it no more.
All right.
And all her stuff is basically out. And all the only thing she has in there is a dog.
When you say all her stuff is basically out,
It's out in the patio all over the place.
okay. So she hasn't vacated the premises.
Well, she's been moving across the street somewhere.
Okay. Is that all the rebuttal testimony that you want to offer?
Well, yeah, but no one's done any of the above. She's coming up with all this just because she got served. Because she told me that if I try to kick her out, she said she would use the race card, but she didn't.
Uh-oh.
Whoa. Another chipmunk squirrel.
Don't worry, she's got a card to play.
Ask any questions just related to that very limited rebuttal test.
Exactly what you think it's going to be.
Uh-oh.
So if you have any questions, you don't have to.
Can you stop lying, please?
That's not a question. I'm going to stop you right there. Don't respond to that.
When was I acting crazy? When was I yelling at somebody?
Yeah, I like that one.
Every second of this hearing.
Please.
Every moment that I have been aware of your existence, you've been acting crazy. Now, I'm not saying you always act crazy. I'm just saying 100% of the time that I personally am aware of, acting crazy.
That's not
I love that
How
one.
you just said that I was acting crazy out in front of my house yelling at somebody. I'm
I
saying,
like
when
that
was
one.
that testimony, not relevant to my determination today, so I'm going to stop
Oh, okay.
any kind of
I
testimony
like that
questioning
one.
on that point.
Got it.
All right. I have heard from both the plaintiff and
I
the
love that one.
defendant
Can
here.
you stop acting crazy?
Can I have it somehow, like the electricity, or somehow they could get the record of him shutting my stuff off? Can that be subpoenaed somehow? Because I've
Ma'am,
never.
Hold on. Okay, this is the trial.
Yeah, you usually don't start contemplating subpoenas on the day of trial after you've testified. That's the sort of thing you do,
Before.
in preparation for trial.
Right now. I'm not going to be continuing this trial for further evidence to be gathered. This is it, okay? And I've heard your testimony, and I've seen the documents that you brought in, okay? I'm going to allow brief final argument from both sides if you want to make argument. You do not have to. Plaintiff, you begin.
Wait and
That's
see,
the system.
Andrea.
You
Wait
start
and see.
first, and you'll also get a rebuttal closing if you need one.
Well, no, I don't have no arguments. She's coming up with all this water stuff and PG&E stuff. And she's done the opposite. The thing's been on for 60 days. The water one, we broke a pipe a while back. When we fixed it, it kept running. When we turned it back on, and she leaves it whatever's in her unit on and running. So my bill went up to $185. And it's like, she wants to make me pay for her
I think he's suggesting he laid some pipe.
not being able to pay the
Mike.
When I try to help her out, so I could get her a job
A little naughty foreshadowing for you there.
where I used to work at.
Oh my God! Don't tell me she's gonna go there.
Weed or drugs or something. I go, then I knew it's like there was no more working with her.
Sir, I just want to ask you one point of clarification in your closing argument. Your unlawful detainer is based solely on non-payment
Yeah,
of
paying the rent.
rent,
Yeah,
correct?
but yeah, okay.
I don't see anything else alleged in your unlawful detainer complaint, but please tell me if there's something I've missed.
No, just not paying the rent, but I knew she was going to come up with something like this.
And it's fine to respond to the habitability issues that she has raised. That's an affirmative defense, and it is relevant for the court's consideration if I reach that. All right. Thank you for your closing argument. Ma'am, if you wish to offer a closing argument.
Ma'am, if you wish to be
this is your chance
stupid,
you're not
do
required
so.
to, but this is your opportunity.
All I know is I don't have to lie. I mean, he knows what he's doing right now. I don't really, all I could do is like, you want to read my journal? I mean, I don't know. That's like the only solid thing I have is like, I've been keeping track of of everything that he's done.
Oh,
No,
dear
we
God.
do not want to read your journal.
I don't have everything thrown out in front of my house. I've been moving it out in case I got locked out because I know that he's been flipping, like being late, giving me my notices and stuff. So I didn't want to lose everything I had. So I've been moving it outside. He's making me seem like that's what he does to me all the time, is he tries to make everyone think that I'm just some piece of crap. And that alone is enough to make me shut down. I only have not paid him because of the fact that he keeps messing with my utilities. And like I said, I've never gone before. Before this time, I've never gone over a month. He has always been paid up in full before the next month starts. Which is why I don't understand why he always had to do the most. And the only reason he started tripping out like that about the date and whether or not was because he didn't want me there no more because I refused to have sex with him. And
No. Yes, that's a squirrel moment.
Oh, yes.
excuse me. And that's what it comes down to.
Pause you and just say no crosstalk or interruption of.
I don't believe that for 1 second. I didn't believe it from Trailer Park Karen either, but there you have it. The standard go-to in this circumstance, always make that accusation.
Closing
Okay, yeah, but she's
unless you have a legal objection.
No, I mean, it's legal. I mean, she's lying about all
I
that.
don't have to lie. This is why I wanted a lawyer, because it's a lot more than just an eviction.
No, it's illegal. I mean, she's lying. It's the Joe Pesci. Everything that she just said is bullshit.
Bullshit.
Which is true.
Thank you.
Which is true.
The entire opening statement, with the
This is too
exception
funny.
of "thank you," will be
Anything
stricken.
related to the unlawful detainer that you want to argue, and it sounds like you might be done. Is there anything final you wanted to say?
Uh-oh, the bailiff showed
I
up.
don't know. I think I said it all.
Is that a foreshadowing as well, Mikey?
Parties, I'm going to take a moment to look over the documents that are in the court's file, consider the testimony that's been offered, and I'll make my ruling today from the bench.
The deputy showed up behind them, like. Mhm. What was it, dear?
See, I'm going to use Miss Fowler's words. She now is in a throuple. And not only does she choose to be in a
Mikey.
throuple, and she's shacked up in the bed with the throuple. Now, if anybody thinks this is okay, I am in the wrong world.
Throuple.
Okay, there's no throuple. There's no justification for the throuple clip.
Except you played it.
Compared to this one. That's why.
Except you played
Because
it.
it's Saturday night. Viva la Mexico.
Well, Sunday afternoon here, but yeah, we're recording this Saturday night.
And I'll ask parties just to stay silent in the court so that I can review and prepare my ruling.
She needs a moment to write down how stupid you two are.
Implicit is that I don't know. Implicit in that is something that I've actually thought, but I don't know. But she sounds
Mikey.
That may or may not be the case, but it sounds to me like she's a little bit of a bunny boiler herself with the
Betty?
he blocked me on social media. I found that very weird.
Okay. So which side are we going with?
As long as the dog doesn't pee on it.
Mikey.
That darn dog is trouble.
Thought we liked doggies.
At least she didn't lose her bridge in his office.
Mikey. Yes, valid references, but Mikey.
Madam Clerk, as there are no lawyers on this case, I intend to fill out a judgment myself unless we normally do that. Okay.
Objection. All objections.
All objections are overruled. Got it? Okay. All right. She's writing, so it looks like we'll
It
have...
actually can be if you lay the right foundation. But good Lord, first of all, I highly doubt she truly keeps a journal. But if she did, yeah, I mean, think of the messed up thoughts that are
Oh,
that are circulating around that thing.
This thing would be soldering for decades.
Can you feel it?
Can you feel the judgment tonight? Please don't suggest me.
Can you feel the love tonight?
It can be assumed.
All right.
And I hate, God, I hate this word. I thought, what's up? Dick pussy, dick pussy, dick pussy, dick pussy. Going back and forth between texts with one another, and I never want to hear it again.
Okay, that was a weird judge.
Judgment after court trial on this unlawful detainer. Plaintiff carries the burden to establish all of the required elements of an unlawful detainer. On an unlawful detainer based on the failure to pay rent, that requirement includes a 3-day notice to pay rent or quit, which is alleged in the complaint. I have reviewed, to the best of my ability, Exhibit 1, the lease, and the further exhibits attached to the complaint. Exhibit 2, which is called 3-day notice to quit. It does not indicate 3-day notice to quit or pay rent. I have done my very best to read what this contains. It's difficult to read. And as I told you,
That one was typed up on it's a printout.
I've done my best to read to determine whether this strictly complies with notice requirements. And there was a partial notice that was provided by the defendant that was not officially admitted into evidence, but I did look at that. It is, there's disputed testimony about whether that was the same notice that was attached to this complaint.
Yeah.
The proper service of a 3-day notice to pay rent or quit that correct.
I can't remember the original video it's from. Somebody in the chat might tell you. I can't remember what original video it's from, but it's a clip of my own video. Yeah.
States the amount of rent owed, provides clear instructions on how to pay that rent by the deadline before it expires, is a required element of the complaint. I don't find sufficient evidence to rule in your favor, plaintiff. This doesn't stop you from filing another unlawful detainer. But as far as this unlawful detainer,
I mean, why can you not read it?
sir, I gave you a chance to present all evidence that you had. This is my ruling. I'm not gonna be arguing back and forth about it. I filled out a written judgment.
I feel bad for him. He just needs an attorney. He doesn't know what to do. This stuff is very nitpicky and precise. You have to do the notice, and it's a process, and you have to go through all the steps right. It's like a recipe. You got to follow it. If you skip step 2, it doesn't work. And it's very, very intricate. So all he needs to do is refile it. He lost this one because he procedurally doesn't know what the hell he's doing. But he can get her out. He just needs to get an attorney and do it right.
Okay.
For defendant Melissa Smith. I've signed it. I'm handing it to my clerk. And parties, I know that you've all had a lot of problems with each other, and I'm not saying that you have to go talk to Ms. Maunder now or any other type of mediation, but there's nothing stopping you from having assistance from a third party to work out these issues as I don't think that this is going to take care of all of your problems for either one of you. I've made my legal ruling. Bailiff.
I think she's suggesting
I'm
that.
going to use Ms. Fowler's words. She now is in a throuple. And not only does she choose to be in a
Mikey,
throuple,
will you stop
but she's
playing your
strapped up
most
in the
favorite
bed
clip?
with the throuple. Now, if anybody thinks this is okay, I am in the wrong world.
Mikey, I know you love that throuple clip.
File that, so you don't need to hand it to either party. She will provide.
I mean, it might actually work if they channeled some of this aggression and anxiety in the right direction. You know, we might be able to resolve all these issues. I don't know. I'm just trying to make the world a better place.
Provide that to the processing clerk at the court. Can you escort the parties out separately, please? Thank you.
So what do I do from now on? Like what happens?
I'm going to direct you to seek legal assistance. You can as well. There is a self-help center on the second floor of this courthouse. There's also low cost or no cost legal aid. They help plaintiffs sometimes, they help defendants sometimes if you qualify. That's my judgment, and I can't give anyone legal advice. You want to wait, and the bailiff's going to escort you out separately.
Do I get a copy of this, Evan?
Will that be mailed to the parties?
It will be filed with the court, so I would check back Monday or Tuesday. Okay. So he can't put me out now, though? Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, did I just?
You're going to have to, it's a judgment for you, for the defendant.
Oh, okay.
You're going to have to seek legal advice on any further
So I get my
actions,
legal
okay?
counsel. Thank you.
I can't give you legal advice.
So dumb, she doesn't know she won.
Oh, jeez, Mikey.
Oh, and she's like, oh, so he can't put me out? No. You won today because he doesn't procedurally know anything. He can file another one tomorrow and put you out.
Yep.
But there's no way she's going to grasp this unless somebody takes it over for her.
All right. Thank you, Mikey. I definitely appreciate it. And with that, we're going to bring this to a close on From Day One. Come on back tonight for more as we march along here from Day One. Have a great afternoon, everybody.